Hey everybody, Coping Skills here, back with more Sabaton, this time with 1916, a Motorhead cover. And this one comes to us from a special request from Buy Me a Coffee. You can find the link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description of the video, and that's where you can make expedited requests if you choose to. And this one came from Monterey. Thank you so much, Monterey. I truly appreciate it. I'm really excited to get into this one. Sabaton is such an interesting band because of the historical references that they always use in their videos. And so even when they're doing a cover, that's right, it's a cover of a song about a military incursion in 1916. I think the Battle of the Somme. I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce it. I'm not French, but it's about World War I. In 1916, it's known as kind of the year of battle because there were so many battles in that one year. It was crazy from like July to November. It was a crazy period of time in World War One. There was a lot of conflict and a lot of war, and it was happening all over the place at the same time. In any case, if you're new to the channel, I'm a licensed mental health counselor. Started doing reaction videos to try to raise mental health awareness. So if there's something that pertains to mental health and song, I'll probably comment on it, share some perspective, and hopefully it helps somebody somewhere. If you like the content, consider subscribing. Hit that like button and leave a comment. It goes a long way. And if you want to support the channel even more or make a request for a reaction video, the link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description of the video. And I recently started making myself available. If you want to meet with me one-on-one, you can do that through Buy Me a Coffee as well. But without further ado, let's get to Sabaton 1916.
16 years old when I went to the war to fight for a land fit for heroes. God on my side and a gun in my hand, chasing my days down to zero. And I marched and I fought and I bled and I died, and I never did get any older. But I knew at the time that a year in the line was a long enough life for a soldier.
Man, so powerful already. Like I've got goosebumps. But this premise of kind of understanding that this is a year of war, but to drop right into kind of the story of this song as a 16-year-old in war, kind of knowing ahead of time that a year is a long life for a soldier. And that first line of the song basically saying that they were handed a gun, they fought, and they died. Definitely not a happy ending type of story. And war never really is. But also in the video, this transition of this bus here and kind of the group of people. They have the band and there's some people with. I'm not sure if they have any relevance to the band itself. Interesting that kind of they're bringing all these people out and kind of they stand them in a line here and kind of shoulder to shoulder, them standing like this. It gives you this sense of togetherness, like they're all there together, just as soldiers are who are kind of battling in this front. And then it kind of switches from showing them in a war scene, but then also showing a war scene. So it's a really interesting progression from kind of getting off of a bus, almost like the band getting off the bus to go into performance, but the soldiers then going into war, but then to die, but then shifting from this relatively peaceful location where they're standing shoulder to shoulder to obviously war, which is, but these words of, man, 16-year-old dying, man, it gave me goosebumps and kind of the cadence of this. It's almost like a death march or like a dirge, like a funeral dirge type of melodic song. So, yeah, I mean, I'm already emotional. I just wanted to pause it quickly so I could go back. I kind of felt all these emotions building up, kind of swelling as soon as I heard it was a 16-year-old with a gun.
And I fought, and I bled, and I died, and I never did get any older. But I knew at the time that a year in the line was a long enough life for a soldier. Shoulder to shoulder, our thirst for the hun, we were food for the gun, and that's what you are when you're soldiers.
Oh, wow, so powerful. Oh, man. Uh, how do you describe that kind of experience without having so many emotions pop up? Two 16-year-olds that put 18 on their age when they signed up for war, knowing that they probably wouldn't make it a year, and then the lyrics saying that they didn't get any older, so they died at 16, but then how they died kind of clutching for each other, calling out for their mothers because they're children, right? Man, such an emotional kind of pull, so sad. And then kind of being ready for history books, it said at the beginning, and then towards the end, it said that nobody remembers their names. So even this glory that was promised to them didn't happen. And 10,000 soldiers dying in that single day. The World War One, which at the time is called the Great War, is still one of the bloodiest loss of life conflict, especially relative to the world's population at the time. Incredibly, incredibly uh, deadly conflicts. So I went to Sabaton's page for this song and had a link and a whole bunch of really cool history. So I encourage you to go there, go to Sabaton's webpage, and click on this song and go to their little history links if you're curious to learn more about the military conflicts that were going on at this time and the decisions around them. So basically, the British and French were kind of teamed up against the German forces during this time. And I think there was a line at the beginning that said, or towards the end actually, that said something along the lines of thirst for the Hun. And I'm not sure the Hun, if that's specific to a group, but I kind of filled in a T there, a search for a thirst for the hunt, which is kind of this thirst for war. And this thirst for war being met not with fulfillment, but with just death, emptiness, loneliness, and kind of being forgotten. It's the cold truth of war, is like that's the hard reality of what happens in war. But from a mental health perspective, the things that these soldiers and anybody who's been in combat goes through during these times, it almost becomes an existential question, because as much training as they may have received, there's no amount of preparation that you can do to really understand what those feelings are until they've set in. And the only people that truly know what those are going into a fight are those who have already seen combat and been faced with those realities. So these young kids going in, it's about glory and wanting to fight for their country and honor, and then being met with this cold truth of death. Nothing could prepare you for that. And it's so sad. And a lot of the mental health counseling that goes in to these types of situations isn't for the soldier, but it's for the family of the fallen in grieving and that kind of thing. However, the soldiers who return, and obviously PTSD being one of the most prominent and severe things that they deal with, but just reacclimating into society after dealing with being a soldier is a challenge in and of itself, regardless of if you're actually having psychological trauma from the combat situations. The amount of training that you go to try to prepare you for these types of circumstances is something that lasts a long time. There's a lot of parts that are positive, like the discipline and the following orders and being prepared are all great. But a lot of the things that you go through put you almost in a pseudo reality that is so different. Civilian life is so different from military life. So reacclimating back into civilian life is a challenge regardless if you've seen combat or not. There's so many emotional layers that go into this, and we're just on the visceral one about death and loss. So yeah, well, let's continue the video because so far, man, it's gripping. But I also wanted to say, I noticed the Motorhead flag. So they're, doing a cover of a Motorhead song. This song is originally from Motorhead, but I saw the Motorhead flag. So that's a cool call out. And then a picture of somebody from Motorhead, I think. So I'm not sure if one of the original Motorhead members had passed away and that's what prompted them to do this. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if there's more context that I'm not aware of. I just thought it was a Motorhead cover, but if there's some other dynamic, let me know. And if maybe some of the other people that are there are from Motorhead or something, let me know in the comments below. I'm interested. Let's continue. July 1916, British volunteers with no battlefield experience ran into a hailstorm of machine gun fire at the Battle of the Somme. They were friends, neighbors, relatives, and workmates from mostly northern communities enlisted with the promise to be able to fight alongside one another. The British Army suffered 57,470 casualties to gain just 3 miles of territory. One man was killed every 4.4 seconds in the largest loss of life suffered by the Army in a single day. 1,900 Englishmen were killed before noon, a whole generation destroyed in 3 hours. Entire towns in northern Lancashire and South Yorkshire had a whole generation of men completely wiped out. Lemmy Kilmister, Motorhead. By the end of the battle, casualties from both sides topped 1 million, with more than 300,000 killed for 6 miles of ground. I've always been really impressed with Sabaton's videos altogether. They're so good. They're so strong. They put a lot of production value into them. They're really well thought out. They mix the theme of the song with the elements of the video so well. So really properly well done. It's really cool they're giving tribute in the credits to everybody that was involved in the video. Man, I loved the outro there too. I'm a huge fan of the cello, so that cello outro was just beautiful. I had to watch it, and such an awesome tribute, and giving recognition and credit to everybody that was involved in that video. Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Man, I really like the attention to detail. The band is great. They sing so well. The musicality is amazing, but the way that they take historical references in conflict and military conflict, and they're able to take these different viewpoints of it that are largely forgotten or unknown is really interesting. It's their whole premise of bringing awareness to these things. I really give it up for the band because they do it so interestingly and so well that it really does honor those moments. The big three negative mental health emotions that we deal with are anger, depression, and anxiety. And there isn't a part of war or military conflict that isn't fraught with anger, with sadness, and with fear or anxiety. They're there all the time. You're constantly being berated by all three of those negative emotions that pretty much constitute the totality of negative human emotion. Yeah, so for everybody who served, thank you for your service. And thank you, Sabaton, for bringing awareness to this. What should I react to next? Let me know in the comments below. And a little reminder, if you want to make a priority reaction request, you can do that through Buy Me a Coffee in the link below. But something will probably pop up. Keep clicking to keep listening, and we will see you on the next one.